Good evening, good evening. This is Dr. Howard. Welcome back to Love in Our Community. Yes, I am excited today to be back on here for Life Behind the Fence Part 2. I got all my brothers on here that's have shared personal time with me when we was young and even when we went through the system. But I've had an opportunity to interview each one of these brothers who are on here. And we're going to get right into it. But before we get into it, I want to just say, listen, if you really want to support this movement, you can log on to statusnetwork.net, or you can download Status Network on your app. If you have an opportunity that you want to call in, you got a young man that want to call in, or mother, you have a question that you want to ask any one of these gentlemen on here, you can call us live at 470-251-4647. Get on that Status Network and download this app and look up Love in Our Communities with Dr. Howard. But we're going to get right into it. As we talked about before, each one of my brothers here have served a tremendous amount of time. Everybody on this platform have done 15 or better in time. And we talked about that with each one of these brothers. They gave little stories about what got them here, what got them in, how they got locked up, what their life was when they was young. But as we're moving in today, part 2 of this, we're going to talk about where our brothers are at today and what they're doing moving forward since they've been free. Because we have brothers and sisters who've gotten out of prison who are having a hard time. And we want to be an influence to you, an encouragement to you. We want to be able to have access where you can reach out to us. And also not just for our young men and sisters that have gotten out of prison, but we also trying to encourage the young people who seem to be so encouraged to go to prison. We want to help change that narrative and change that storyline. So today, Life Behind the Bar Fence Part 2. We're talking about how we're moving forward and what we're doing since we've been out of prison. Of course, y'all know, since I've been out since 2007, I wrote a book. I've been on Yana Van Sant. I've been on all your platforms, a lot of podcasts. I've been on all the major news network, all type of awards. Have worked closely with a lot of agency trying to curb our violence and trying to, curb the reentry. I mean, the recidivism by helping others find their path and their purpose. And it's amazing, doing this work that you have an opportunity to meet so many different people in the process of going through what they go through. And just the other day, while in one of my meetings at work, and I work at the Atlanta Transit Center and Clayton Transit Center, I found out one of the guys that, had messed up and got sent back, ended up committing suicide. And sometimes we don't realize how depressed, guys really are while they're inside their institution, man. Even at the transition center, place of the transition center, which everybody here had the opportunity to go through transition. And as they're preparing to go home, there's a lot of stressful moments there. There's a lot of opportunity to do wrong, but there's also a lot of opportunity to do right. It just depends on where you're at in your life, your mindset. And one of the biggest things I think is the type of people you hang around, right? And do you have enough courage to say no? Do you have enough courage to stand up on your feet? When you was coming through the TC 4 years ago, what was your biggest challenge? As you got prepared, you had done, at the time you had done how much time?
26 and a half.
26 and a half. And as you got ready to prepare yourself to come home, what was the biggest challenge in your mind? If you had to talk to one of these brothers and sisters out there, what would be the challenge? And then some of your family need to know how to deal with you when you're coming out. They need to know what the expectation is. Your girlfriend, your wives, even your kids have to understand what you're dealing with and how do they do. What was your biggest challenge that you see when you was getting ready to come out?
In terms of preparing to go home, I had already kind of dealt with that on the inside. And it started with me just understanding that possibility was there, that I was one day going to go home. And so I started challenging a lot of things that I deemed to be weaknesses. I didn't have issues with peer pressure because...
Got over that, huh?
Yeah, because on the inside I ran a program called Faith and Character. And in prison, that's taboo. Most brothers inside of the prison weren't about necessarily being involved in anything conducive to growth and development. It was a survival of the fittest type of mentality. Whereas my mindset was, what can we do each and every day to make ourselves better? Not just to get out, but while we're inside, because one day the reality of death is prevalent. And so with that being said, you know, if you got some kind of spiritual belief or connection, you know, you have to answer to God for whatever you're doing in the life of this world. So that's how I was living. So when I got out, the realities of the mindset of people in society, I wasn't ready for that.
Is it still a challenge for you? You've been out 4 years.
Every day. Because inside a prison, behind those walls, camaraderie is a major thing. You connected to somebody in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And people sincerely, you know, wanted the best for you. They had your best interest in mind, no matter what that may be. You in a group right here, those people had each other's best interest. If these people over here, y'all might not even like them, but they, whatever group they hang with, they got their best interest. Out here, man, it's like,
selfish motives.
Yeah, man. Everybody, there ain't no love.
See, and it's crazy. Like some of the things that we're doing at the TC now, trying to get these guys resources and opportunity. I didn't have when I was coming out. Yeah, whatever you made it have, we have. You buy, you get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Now there's a lot more resources for the guys, and even guys like us to help them kind of get through the thing. Jason, when you was coming out, what was your biggest fear factor? What was it?
My biggest fear factor was running into people I did wrong to, because I knew that I wasn't going to be walking around with no pistol and that life was over with. But you know, God forgives, but man doesn't. And I kicked up a lot of dust out here in Atlanta. So I didn't. My fear factor was, you know, going into a store or a restaurant and running into some cats that I got at, and you know they still thugging and I'm not. And the fact that they might pull out and try to kill me or something like that. So that was a fear factor for me, because I did a lot of dirt out here.
You know, it's amazing to me, man, once you get to a place of growth, like you don't want to die, man. Like I want to live. You know, I don't know how everybody else feel, but I want to live. Like I want to live every day of my life healthy. You know, I don't even want to deal with that. I don't want no smoke, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want no smoke, man. We just talk about, you know, you say the same thing sometimes. I say, man, I go inside the store, man, I don't even try to look at guys, man. Like, I don't want no problem. Because people just have this macho thing, man, like they just got to prove a point. And I'm just not there, man. I'm like, you know, because for most of us out here, if you put us in that moment, we lose everything. Yeah. Right? Everything that you've accomplished, everything that you worked hard for, possibly you'll lose in a moment's time, you know, and you may be in the right. And the problem comes is, you know, especially brothers that are dealing with life sentences, once they step over that line, you know, I'm off parole. You know, I don't know how much time you got left on parole, but, you know, any mistake y'all make, it's like, it could be detrimental. Very. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, that is a thing, because you get out and I ran into the family of, you know, the victim of my family. You know what I'm saying? You know, and thank God, man, for turning my life around in the sense of didn't even realize they had been watching me on social media. Yeah. Knew when I got out. Knew what type of car I drove. Told me everything. But said, you know what, man, we've been watching what you're doing, man. You ain't nothing to worry about, bro. Nothing like that. We're glad you know you're doing, man. You're trying to help people in the community. You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for change, man. Because change with me was a bridge of what's the word I'd be using? It put a bridge there so it wouldn't be no conflict, no problem. We was able to communicate. I was able to go sit down and talk to mom and have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that can be a fear for a lot of people, man. Especially if you in that life. You know what I'm saying? Because some people don't forgive. They want action. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, you know, I'm glad to see you at your place, man, where that's not even an issue for, like, that ain't where I want to be at. No. You know what I'm saying? So, not
at all. And just to put a little on it.
Put the mic up.
Just to put a little on it is just like, and it wasn't the fact that I was walking around paranoid. It's just the fact that, you know, the reality is that, you know, I hurt a lot of people and their families. And so, you know, me changing, I want to show that opportunity to society and to myself and to my family. And that's the opportunity I just didn't want to stop, because, you know, everywhere I go, everybody walking around with guns. I'm not with one. I'm not carrying one. I'm on parole. I'm not going back to prison. Period, man. Off of my own stupidity. So that it definitely was kind of like, you know, because Atlanta's not a big city. you know, you
Once
run into people everywhere.
once you out here, you realize it ain't big as you think it is.
You go run into people everywhere, you know, and you just never know. You feel me?
Yeah.
So as you got ready to prepare to exit, like what was your challenges?
Let me say this first. I asked the Most High to purify my tongue. I asked the Most High to guide my tongue, to protect my tongue. I asked the Most High to purify my heart, to guide my heart, and to protect my heart. I greet the most peace-loving greeting. Assalamu alaikum. My thing was this, man. When getting out, before I got out, I knew I had to decolonize my mind, my whole way of thinking. Even being associated with the past, because a lot of time when people try to prop you up and put your talk about all your negative aspects that you did, your accolades, and they try to give praise to darkness. And if you ain't careful, you can feed into it. But my thing, it had always been my belief in the law and learning how to apply the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, not in a extreme manner, but in the way that he did. It really knocked down so many barriers. That what really got me out of penitentiary. That's the only thing transformed my total way of thinking. Pan-Africanism didn't do it. All the other genres that, you know what I mean, it didn't do it. It was Islam and the Imams. I had the community support when I was behind the walls. You know what I mean? The writing the letters and things of this nature. And to being able to sit down. Matter of fact, the first thing one of the elders told me to do, he wanted me to write a letter called A Letter from a Brother. And it was to the youth. You know what I mean? Explaining my story, my shortcoming, with how I end up in this bad reality in the first place. Because I was 17, and I don't think a lot of people understand when you're 17, you don't really understand what a life sentence really is. You know what I mean? Like, even today's time, I tell dudes, I was like, man, you know, a life sentence is 30 years before you eligible for parole. Not saying you're going to get parole before you eligible. I said, man, how old are you? I said, they telling you going to have to do 30 years before you come up. I say, man, I can't even fathom that now. You know what I mean? I say, when you be a kid, you talking about if you got kids, you know, kids out here having kids. You talking about your son being raised up again by an environment that's not conducive to, you know what I mean, to the proper understanding of human development.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I be looking at all of that stuff now. So I be like, I try to do what I can with the juveniles. I try to get active in the juveniles. My wife be thinking I'm crazy when she see the youth with these guns because the laws have been passed. She like, man, you sit there and talk to them and they listen. You interact before they do something stupid. She like, you read it. I'm like, when you played in the street for so long, you know when something about to go down. I said, you got one or two things. I said, you can flee the situation and leave it all alone together. Or you can prevent somebody, if you can, from getting hurt. You know what I mean? Because it ain't just going to be that person right there get hurt. It's going to be the victim family, his family, everybody get hurt.
Whole community get hurt.
The whole
right?
community.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that your elders asked you to do was write a letter to give back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that's a challenge within itself because you hoping you're saying the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, because we just left an event and we having dialogue with the kids in one of the groups that I teach in the cab. And them young folks just like, man, we was talking about how do you make a peaceful moment out of a situation where y'all may collide with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
He said it ain't none. Like they don't even see a way out, like making a peaceful way out. They're like, man, people have no understanding, man. They just want war.
Facts.
And I'm just like, the more we kept talking about it, the more I realized, man, we are really in a different time, man.
Yeah, we are.
Because, you know, brother asked me just a little while ago, he said, man, how was these kids when you were growing up compared to what they are now? You know, and I'm just like, man, these kids just, like, even when we robbed, like, we wasn't just intentionally trying to kill nobody off the rip. A lot of people, they killing now, they'll kill the most simple situation. You know, I was just told, like, when you rob, if they do buck, you shoot. Not just to be shooting, you know. They shooting off the rip. I was looking at the young man, and I got to find that story when they killed the football player up in, I think, Gwinnett County, wherever it was at. And but how much could he have had on? He on a date at the movies. How much could he have had? Was it worth him dying? So one of y'all was willing to shoot him, and for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no millions of dollars, it wasn't no hundreds of thousands of dollars, and just there are people doing it now, man. The kid over in Clayton County, I think they said just shot a random dude out there in front of the checkers. Like, people are just going crazy with these guns, man. Like these guns are so demonic, man. But it's tough out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to say the right thing, man. You want to. Dude said they call us, man, and say y'all old people washed up. That's what I feel like. Because I ain't never heard that part of it. He said we washed up, right? But that's just that term now, because we listen to older people too when we was coming. We didn't want to hear all that positive stuff. I'm out here trying to get some money. Mm-hmm. I'm out here doing what I do. I don't care about all that. You know what I'm saying? Now, we weren't as disrespectful. They allowed to tell you F you and keep going. Or pull a pistol on you by saying something. But on your way out, man, what was your challenge that you see?
Oh, man, I think my biggest challenge was understanding that people don't see things the way I see it. My perspective on the way I see things is totally different from the way a lot of people see things, and I had to really come to understand it. Mm-hmm. And that was a big challenge. It was a challenge to understand that my freedom don't mean the same thing to you as yours does, or my freedom might not even mean nothing to you, right? And so I have to learn how to interact in a world now, because we're going outside the institution. We're cohabitating in the free world, in society. Mm-hmm. And I had to understand, man, these people don't care nothing about my story, what I've been through, and what I'm trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And so my biggest challenge was just going in a situation and understanding that in order for me to be able to make it out of here, right, mm-hmm. I have to understand that I have to be very strategic in the way that I move, the way that I think, and the things that come up out of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because you're being up under a microscope. Yeah. And they're watching everything that you do, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe at some point trying to see if you are really ready. If you're really ready. So I had to just understand, man, and
adjust quickly
because it was at the point where people was the turnover rate at the TC, man, was so high.
It's crazy.
People coming in, going back to prison. I'm like, wow, this thing is serious, man. And so if you don't walk accordingly in a certain type of way, hey, man, you might find yourself back in prison. Mm-hmm. So my biggest challenge was just to understand that, hey, man, nobody cares about the fact that you're trying to make this transition, right? No more than you do. So I had to do the things that I had to do, man, to put myself in a situation, in a platform, man, where everything I do have to be surrounding the fact that I'm trying to get up out of here, and I wanted to succeed. So it was just a challenge, because you got people that's not like-minded, that's making it hard for you. Mm-hmm. People that's on your, that's in the center, that's on the job, that maybe ain't done it 3-4 years, mm-hmm. ain't really got nothing to go home to anyway. And if you don't move right, if you don't think before you move, man, you can find yourself getting caught up in it, even with just trying to get them some good advice, man.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt.
So I just had to learn too, man. Sometimes everybody don't want to hear what you got to say. Sometimes the best advice is none at all, just to keep your mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? So that you won't open up doors to situations that may go left.
I always just believe, one thing I've always lived on, even when I was in prison, was like I had to hear God's voice sometime when it comes to talking to people, man.
Most definitely.
Right? Because there's two things come out of that. One, you can miss opportunity, mm-hmm. and procrastinate from talking to people, because you'll feel like people don't want to hear you. Mm-hmm. Or, you run into that situation you just said, people don't want to listen. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean not planting a seed.
Not planting a seed.
Because in the Bible it talks about, one plants, one water. Mm-hmm. God gives the increase. Because what you say don't necessarily mean people going to move by that. Mm-hmm. But what you may come back and say mm-hmm. may make it move. Mm-hmm. What you may follow back up with it may make it move. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, facts. So our kids do it every day. Facts. They don't listen to anything we talk about. Mm-hmm. Or let somebody else come say it. Mm-hmm.
And I had to understand too that a lot of times people are watching how you move. Sometimes the best encouragement, the best advice, the best motivation can be just simply how you carry yourself.
Be a living
within
epistle.
your character.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really honest. When you really look at it, when you gravitate to these kids or you gravitate to people out here, it ain't all about what you. The majority of it is about how you moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? How you're doing it, because you can't profess God and they don't see it in your life.
Exactly.
They don't see the growth of God in your life. They don't see how God is moving in your life. You see what I'm saying? And it ain't about you can come up here and profess, oh man, I got a truck, I got a house. Mm-hmm. No, I want to see you moving in it, bro. Mm-hmm. I want to see you a man, and that's what I think people have lost. As one of our tools, we know God is one of our tools of turning your life around. And I think that's where people have lost their way because they see so many of us all over the place, right? So they don't really see the consistency of who you say you are. You know what I'm saying? And we live in a world like that. You know what I'm saying? Even in the process of that, y'all get out. Because I'm like this, man. Hey, every day to me is like getting out.
Oh, man, yeah.
I'm telling
every
you.
day.
What really hit me the other day, man, I get on the yard at Clayton TC. She like, well, you want a golf cart? Yeah, my knee hurt. I want a golf cart. I want to drive around the yard. So I get on there, and as soon as I hit, man, God just like, man, you remember when you wanted to be on yard call? Mm-hmm. You remember when you used to be on red call? Now you running yard call. And it wasn't because I was in that position. I'm just so happy to be home, man. Yeah. Able to move on with my life, man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And watch how God have allowed me to do a lot of great things, man. So in the process of you got out, man, what are you doing now? Like, where have God brought you in your life now?
Well, honestly, at this point, I thought I would be more involved in the community. That was my plan. That was my vision. Mm-hmm. God took me in another direction, though. I got involved in the HVAC element of employment and worked for a couple of different companies and started my own. Mm-hmm. So at this stage, I'm trying to nurture that business, but as well starting to try to get more involved. Now, I ran back into the chaplain that was once at Phillips State Prison. And as a matter of fact, he was the director of a chaplaincy in the state of Georgia at one time too. Then he went to DDJ. DJJ, I meant to say. Department of
Yeah, Mr. Horn.
No, not Mr. Horn, Chaplain Horn.
Chaplain Horn.
Yeah, Chaplain Horn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's about to start having me go in and talk to his students at Emory.
Good.
I'm supposed to do that next Tuesday.
Awesome.
So I'm starting to get back involved in that. Of course, I've written and published 3 books too.
Yeah.
So that's another goal that I have, to try to market those because they're about self-growth and development, using my story to help somebody understand what they shouldn't do if they're trying to be successful.
Good. Yeah. Good. Brother, what you got going on since you've been out, man? And you've been out the shorter. You still got fresh milk on your tongue.
Yeah.
You're a rookie out here.
Man, I've been working. I've been mentoring with the youth, the at-risk gang youth. Mm-hmm. I've been working with DeKalb County. I've been working with Brother Omar. I've been working with Pastor Nate. And I've been mentoring the youth. I've been going to their homes, sitting down with them, working with them, trying to pick their brain, to show them a different agenda. We've been going out to eatings, to bowling and golfing. So that's what I've been on. I have a business, a nonprofit organization called Compromising Choices. And this is something that I gave birth to while I was in the cell with Elijah Ruffin. Mm-hmm. I wrote the blueprint out, and this is something that I dearly want to do, is to change the youth, especially with the gang culture, because I come from that, where it started. Mm-hmm. And so, I want to show them that, that life is not what you want it to be. So for me, I want to be an interrupter of jails and coffins. So that's what I've been on,
Yeah, and I'm even more impressed, bro. You've been out since November, man. You pulling up an old neighborhood that you run in.
Yeah,
on the youth.
Simpson Road. I've been on Simpson. I'm pulling up, hopping out, politicking with these young dudes, talking to them because I'm not afraid. Never been, and so I'm just trying to show them a different way, because a lot of these young dudes are crash dummies for these big homies. These big homies ain't right, man. And I'm not afraid to say it, because I behind the wall see it, and it's going on now. Because like I said before at this meeting, there's 2 things. If these young dudes is rolling around killing, robbing, and they not listening to the big homie, then you're telling me that they don't respect you, or you indulging in it and you just acting like you can't control them. So it's either two. Either they ain't respecting you and you really not the big homie, or you with it. Which one is it, man?
Yeah, yeah. So it's important to make a difference, right? If we want to change the recidivism, and we all going to play our part in that one way or another, right? One, based on how we move, to give people hope of how that you can get out and make a difference in life. Second, we all tell our stories to some perspective, whether it's on this platform or another platform. Somebody can hear it and listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So we all play our part of being servants and trying to help. Because I always believe, man, that's why my name of my podcast is Loving Our Community. Like, I have to love my community, man. Like, I regardless if I'm Christian, y'all Muslim, man, I want my kids and I want my brothers and sisters, man, to be able to be at peace, man. Every day, not some days, every day, man. You know, my elders get old, your mom get old. I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, your mom need to have a peaceful life, and not putting me in a perspective. Somebody put me in perspective where I had to, get on something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should all want to be that, man. Like, a lot of us don't live that rah-rah life, man. And look where it get us at. 15, 20.
6 and a half.
26 and a half.
26 and a half.
26 and a half.
15.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that's too much. We don't done enough time for the community.
Exactly.
Just us five alone have done enough time for every community in the United States. So we got to, we have to change that. So, what you doing? What you on now? What you got going on? Well, your hands in a lot of stuff, like, man. Right? That man, he be riding, but he be getting in it, baby.
I'm part of the Malcolm X grassroots movement. The Jamaat of the State Uthman Down for Dodio, they trying to. We actually with the Jamaat. I've been talking with the leadership because I'm like the wazir for our Jamaat here in Atlanta. So I've been talking with them, trying to figure out how can we get, like, when juveniles don't have a place to go, a place to stay, how can we transform one of our places of worship into a place where allow juveniles to come in to have a place to stay and create curriculum and programs for them to show them how to navigate back in society. As always, I've been back in training with the arts. The artist says, for me, martial art has always been a way of life for me. It keep me peaceful. And just I stay reading. The lady do books, so every time I get paid, I make sure I go buy a book. So I'm big on always educating myself, especially when it comes to dealing with the legacy and history of our people, because a lot of things what the youth don't understand. We've been it been injected us to self-hate. We've been taught self-hate, and it runs so deeply that we don't feel like we can come up out of that self-hate. Like I was part of street tribes, but I try not to use the labels that the government called them, because it gives, like, when people like, you got a young brother say, I'm a gangster, and I like, what makes you a gangster? Then they be like, everything they describe is not a gangster, it be a goon. I said, man, you ever watch Popeye? The goons on Popeye, that dude with the big old body with a little bit old head.
Caveman.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
He was like, man, I know this. I'm like, yeah, them the stupid ones. I said, y'all name yourself out the Sean Gotti, out all these folks, but I said these people never heard of their mother. They weren't being disrespectful to their elders. You know what I mean? I said, I learned how you have to speak the language of the youth, because you got to keep in mind that the youth don't respect their own father because he's not there. So you trying to come in trying to play like a father role, he gonna automatically rebel. But if you come and speak the language and you meet him where he's at, not where you at, but you meet him where he's at, you'll make more of a difference. Like, whether it's food, because he might not have anything in the house to eat. You got to be willing to you got to become selfless. In mentoring and trying to make any development of changes, you got to learn that it ain't about you in no shape, form, or fashion, that what you doing is for the sake of God. But you're going to always, when being a mentor, you're going to put your life on the line. You know what I mean? You can end up back in, because we got to keep in mind, you can go to jail for being righteous. So we can't think you can't go to Martin Luther King. We got numerous examples that if you move in righteous, one thing we got to not do is fear the mission that the Most High have given us. As long as we live in His path, like the brother say, I don't walk around with guns. You know what I mean? Because I know with me and a gun, I know what it means for me. So, you know what I mean? I know it means death. You know what I mean? It's a death sentence. You know what I mean? So no matter if I'm in the right or not, either way it goes, I'm in a death sentence as being a lifer. Cause I tell brothers every day, when you come out here, $20,000 is not enough money. I say I'm letting everybody in the world know, when you get out of transition center, whatever amount of money you save up, man, because you're gonna run into pitfalls. That I'm talking. Thought I had a mean blueprint. You know what I mean? I'm talking about bulletproof, but I didn't see my stepson doing this jump shot to get us kicked out. And here is, I'm a convicted felon, never had an apartment a day in their life in his name. Now I got to find somewhere to go. And not just on me, for the family, in 7 days because something my stepson had there. You know what I mean? So, and the only thing I could find in the immediate 7 days was an Airbnb. They costing me $2,500 a month. You know what I mean? That ain't including the clothes and doing all that stuff there, the food and all that there. So I wasn't, but by the grace of God, I had him, I had the Muslim community, I had different people. I had a support team where it made it easy. It gave me a little bit of cushion. I had a brother. It always gave me a little bit of cushion. But I understand that when people come out of penitentiary, they're gonna be faced with these obstacles. But we gotta understand that we can remove these obstacles. It's always around. You know what I mean?
We're gonna take a short break, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna see what my brother, what he's doing in his life. But you still have an opportunity to call in when we come back at 470-251-4647. Look, all my brothers up here, man, they're giving y'all some great information on prison, how it is to get out of prison, but also talking to them young people about the choice they made. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Yo, check this out. Welcome back. This is Dr. Howard, loving our communities. This is Life Behind the Fence. We got a lot of information right here. And really, we can have 3 or 4 more shows talking about recidivism, reentry, being behind the fence. These guys didn't even, listen, they ain't even scrape the surface of what's really going on down in them chain gangs, man. They're not even scraping the surface of the depression and the stress. I was talking to guys yesterday at the prison, man, asking how many people set up under them sheets, man, gangsters, crying. Because they tired, ready to go home. You know? Tired of stabbing, tired of wars. Tired of trying to calm stuff down, man. You know, that's so much stuff there, man. And that's the reason why, you know, I go so hard, man, because I don't want to see young people go down that path, man. It was rough when we first went in prison. You know, I told people Alto is a different entity. Now, man, I don't know what's going on now, boy. This is something else. But in spite of that, we didn't get a chance to ask my brother what he's doing since he been. I want to know, you know, and my brother had an interesting story, and we'll talk about it another time, man. Like, you know, you don't expect to have a car accident that could have ruined your life.
Exactly.
Could have took your life away. But since you've been out, man, what you been doing, man?
Okay, so I've been blessed with the opportunity to run a trucking company. And this trucking company was birthed by a woman that named it Your Majesty Trucking. But her vision was to offer opportunities to people that may have been in the workplace and for certain things, maybe they motor vehicle record or, you know, some kind of substance abuse problems or whatever, and couldn't work for the big companies, to bring them in, man, and give them a second chance.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So when I was brought in and my story is being told, it gave me an opportunity to also give guys that have been in my situation an opportunity too. You know,
Awesome.
we wanted to start a prison reform through the trucking company to give guys, man, that is coming out the outside of the walls an opportunity to get into the trucking industry, to learn how to drive, to train them, to give them an opportunity once they get their CDLs, to try to help lower the recidivism rate. Because a lot of times, man, a lot of guys are in the streets because they're trying to make some money, man. So with this right here, we try the opportunity where guys can make a decent living, make money on the highway, like I like to say, and cut down on them, you know, feeling like they got to get back on the streets just to be able to make ends meet and have something to be able to put away. So right now, that's what I got going on.
Awesome,
I brought in 3 guys so far, man. They had done served some time, man. Put them in the truck, man, and just gave them an opportunity, man, just to, you know, to make a legal living. You know what I'm saying? In a sense where they dealing with somebody who understands them and what they've been through. You know what I'm saying? Not judging them, and in hopes that we can set a platform where people watching what we're doing, you know what I'm saying, and say, hey, you know what? Let's give these guys a chance, because I'm a lifer. Let's give these guys a chance, man, that's behind the wall. Because we're seeing some productive progress through what all of us are doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to do my part to set the standards, man, because I know some guys that still inside them walls that need a chance. So I'm just trying to do everything I can to set the stage to allow the people that's watching us, because we are being watched, that man, given a choice, given a chance, man, that we can be productive citizens out here in this world.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And that's the narrative we're changing. And I think that's the narrative all of us are changing, bit by bit. You're creating a business, which I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hire guys on, soon. That has, you know, the drive to want to do something different in their life. My brother is doing something with other organizations. You're doing something with your business, things that you're creating, things I've been creating. Is to try to give people a positive, view going forward. Because it's not, as hard as it is to be out here, man, it's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
And I tell guys that all the time, it is beautiful out here. I don't care how much going on out here. Boy, it is beautiful out here. You just got to pick and choose where you want to be at, right? Like, I want to be on the Island of Beauty, bro. I ain't trying to be on the Skull Island, baby. You know what I'm saying? And I like, because I'm able to hang with some of my brothers, man, and go grab a bite to eat, go watch a game, even just picking up the phone, having a conversation, and loving the growth of y'all, man. I really love y'all brothers, man. I love the growth, because I know what type of men y'all. I know when y'all had horns. I know the devil was our best friend, and how we dismissed him. And you know, his drive is to get us back. You know, whether it's the smallest thing, which you talked about earlier. You know, car accident. You know, homie pulling up on you, telling me you got a lick. You know what I'm saying? Losing your house time. You know, it's every obstacle come at you, man, to try to make you fumble the football. But I'm grateful, and I encourage me today to y'all brothers, man, and sisters, man, you can make it. I just young lady, man, I keep in contact with, just did like several years, man. She just went and got her CDLs a couple weeks ago. A week ago, she got one Sunday. The next Sunday she was going to pick up her truck. Right? Love it. You know what I'm saying? One of my homegirls got out, doing 16 years on federal prison. They just released her off because she's doing work in the community. Just let her off for her paperwork. You know what I'm saying? So my homegirl Jennifer, she go around and speak with me, man. She has her own business going. She's a motivation speaker. She got a big project going on with a major network that's finna display her document. You know, like my brother Travis, he got a book out. He have a movie out on I think Tubi, Amazon, stuff like that. Got my brother Kenyatta Martin. He has what's called trailer. He build custom trailers. You know, he's doing very well. And then we got friends on top of friends who are doing great. Like, so there's no reason why you can't get the resource, because you got brothers who got resources. So this out to you parents and to family members. You know, reach out to us. You can look us up. Most of us on social media platforms. But you can reach out to me at 444-480-3235. I can connect with any brother, say hiring brothers. Eventually, my brother Bed Housing Brothers. We're connected with people that have resources. He's actually going to be helping one of the guys coming out the institution to help try to find some housing. So great opportunity that's being presented, but definitely for a lot of us, we're definitely targeting our young adults and some of the choices they're making.
Most definitely.
We really want to have an impact in your life by what we may say and the wisdom that we're trying to pour into you. I know God will give us all the opportunity to manifest that in somebody's life. And my prayer for each one of y'all that y'all continue to keep going on the route you're going, man, because you're gonna change a community of people. You're gonna change a nation of people that needed some hope. Even for ones that never been to prison but just don't have hope, they can see what you've been through, and that will instill some sense of hope into them. Because I've had brothers read my book and like, man, I thought about giving up, man, until I read your book.
Yeah.
Doing them 15 years down that road. So I'm grateful. I got a brother that's in the military, man. Once or twice a year, he reach out, man. All of some of his new troop getting, he buy books for him. Send him. He said, I want to encourage. I've been in prison. I ain't been in the military. But he utilizes that opportunity. So even my brother talking about the books, got to get them back in rotation. Because somebody needs to hear. Somebody needs. My brother getting ready to come out with a curriculum. Right? He's ready to impact some people's lives, some young adults' lives. My brother's heavy in the community doing the things that he's doing, providing jobs. Of course, y'all never been to a program. So we're grateful today to be on this platform. Next several weeks, you'll see me posting up some flyers about I'm doing a camping trip with some young men coming March 31st. Definitely need your support and donations. I used to do it once a year. I haven't had a chance to do it the last couple of years because of the pandemic, do some other little stuff or whatever, but we're back on the roll. You're going to see some other great things that I'm pursuing to do that's going to be beneficial to the community. And like I said, you're going to see each one of these brothers doing their part. Every second and fourth Saturdays, 3 to 4 p.m., you'll see Love in Our Communities. Listen, God bless you on this day. To all my sponsors who's been supporting Rockin' Tacos, who's been a major impact in my life. Thanks for all the support y'all been doing. But I want to give a big shout out before I leave off today to all my sisters and brothers who have been fighting against cancer. I want to pray for you, pray for your family. I pray that God will give you healing in your life and bless you throughout things. Rest in peace to my brother Derek Ivey. Well, I just lost his life, one of the brothers who have a major impact in the community, doing a lot of great things. God bless you and your family. And for all those who maybe lost somebody, look forward to seeing y'all on the 4th Saturday. God bless y'all. Have a great day. This is Love in Our Community. It's Dr. Omar Howard. Y'all have a blessed day.